Hi everyone, and welcome to our second video blog of Tate and Q. And I wanted to start out with just some of the training sessions we've been doing. We've gone and taken some dressage lessons and some show jumping lessons, and here we have Q with Betsy Steiner, who's local down the road. And now we're just working on basically her canter and her trot. She tends to get a little overpowered through her shoulder. And the best way to really fix that is through some transitions. But you can see here her normal canter is quite nice. When you start to collect her canter a little bit, she gets a little bit uneven in her tempo and gets a little bit stressed out about it. So we're trying to work through some canter walk transitions to try and get her to carry some weight behind and feel confident about the transitions. But you can see there she's a little bit nervous, has a couple of steps of trot, comes a little braced against the bridle. And so here we work on a circle or two, getting her to set back on her hind end. And as soon as she makes the slightest effort, you can see I just give the reins right away because she's quite, if she feels restricted, she gets a little opinionated. So every time I get her to sit back on her hind end, I really chuck the reins at her and make sure that she feels like she's not a bit claustrophobic. And then I come around and ask for the transition again. And here she stays a lot more true in her rhythm. She does have a step or two of trot, but it's a happier horse. So that was quite good. Here we're moving on to work on her a little bit of her counter canter. Again, we're really focusing right now on some of the stuff that's going to catch up with her in the next year or two. She's got beautiful natural gaits, but when you get into the tight transitions in the counter canter here, she can get she finds it a little bit tough, a little bit claustrophobic. So here we have a nice smooth counter canter. And finish it up with a 10-meter circle and then work out of it. And again, Betsy just had us really working on this nitpicky focus stuff, and she came out of it quite well. Now we're on to Tate, and I had said to Betsy I'd been having some, really wanted to focus on her canter halt transitions. And so she has us here starting to work on canter pirouettes, which are something we haven't done before. And we start with this first one here, and it's quite a working pirouette, meaning it's not on a very small circle. He just steps around as big of a circle as he needs so he can feel comfortable really weighting his inside hind leg and getting really active behind so that when we go for our canter halts, it's a little bit easier. Here I put a little bit more pressure on this next canter pirouette, and you can see him resist a little bit, but it's just something new, and he's trying to figure out how to work his body and get his hind legs to work and everything to come together. And now's the time to really be working on this stuff. So we don't have to do canter pirouettes ever in any 3-day eventing test. That's simply a straight dressage thing, but we use it for training. You can see there he gets a little bit stressed out, a little bit worried, but he keeps working, and we come out of it. And we do that kind of intense work to make the work he has to do in his dressage test a little bit easier. And here we come back again, and we let it be a little bit more of a working transition. Or a working pirouette, and he starts out well, gets a little nervous in the middle, but then I'm quite happy with him because he thinks about it, gets there, he's a little tough, and then he thinks about it, and then travels out, and actually here comes around and has 3 nice steps, which will only help, there we go, in his canter transitions, or his canter halt transitions. So again, that's what these dressage lessons and training diaries are about, is kind of focusing on the things that are a little bit tough and raising the game a little. And here we just finish up with some nice working trot. He's quite happy and loose here, and we come around and try and just let him actually step up and take his normal work to another level so that his actual working trot is quite exceptional. And so here he's got a nice uphill frame. We kind of kick the hind end into gear right now, and he feels quite good about himself considering those pirouettes were so tough. This just trotting stuff seems easy right now. Here we're going to move over to just some show jumping, just because I got to get a little jumping in. Can't be all dressage. And I've just taken him over to Amanda Flint, who's a show jumper here. And the main thing we're working on is to get him to cover the distance a little bit more across the backside of the fences. One of the main problems that I felt after Burley was he was quite tired, but he was having some struggles covering the backside of the combinations. So we're really focusing on moving him up to the fences and making sure his landing stride is as forward as his takeoff stride, because he has a tendency to land a little bit short, and they're just really making sure that he keeps traveling. So I was quite happy with those lessons. I thought he came out quite well. And then we'll finish up here with a little bit of Q and the show jumping at the fork. I don't think I got this video out. And I'm looking forward to taking some show jumping lessons with her here in the next week or so and getting her into the show jumping ring. She's quite an extravagant jumper, but again, we're still working with the same thing as the same thing on the flat. She's so extravagant, she sometimes tends to move and jump outside of her own body, so she gets a little bit, and she's quite a confident mare, so she likes to run and jump, and she likes to move big, so sometimes she jumps herself into a little bit of trouble, and you can see here she comes around this turn here and just gets a little opinionated, that she knows what she's doing. But thankfully she's talented enough that she gets it sorted out in the meantime, and I think these traits are what are going to make her incredibly special. That make her incredibly special is she's got all the jump and scope, and right now all we're trying to do is just settle her down and let her know she's got years to develop into all of that. So it's all pretty exciting. But thank you guys very much. I know that was a quick kind of brief update, and